Hi, I'm Tony Berluti, and I'm with the Smart Top Bullfrog Spas race team, and I wrench in the number 10 Justin Brayton's motorcycle. Starting at the front, Justin likes to use 996 Renthal handlebars. We run arc levers. His clutch is pretty far out, and he uses his brake, and the brake is really actually pretty close to his fingers to the handlebar. He likes it very sensitive, and we also have a Works caliper that goes with it. He's really temperamental with his controls, and the throttle being one of them, we have to take a Works connection throttle tube and cut it down because he likes a skinnier grip, and he likes it smaller in his hand. He's got risers, 5mm risers on the X-Trig triple clamps. He runs it pretty much in the middle, I believe, with the offset going forward. We use the medium elastomer for the bar mounts. He's finicky on his front fender, so the front fender has to be higher in the front, so I run spacers in the back to raise the front of the fender up a little bit higher. Yeah, so on the steering, Justin likes it really, really stiff, so I have to put a lot of load on the bearing, and he can feel it right away. If it's too loose, right away we have to tighten it up. So yeah, he runs a really stiff steering stem. So on our suspension, we run factory Showa stuff. He's got to deal with Showa. They give him factory Showa and spring oil system. They service him every week. Adrian from Showa has been helping us out all year long. W helps us out on wheels. We run a W rear wheel and a production front hub, DID Dirt Star rims, but we run stock front spokes. They provide us with the spokes for the rear wheel and hub combination, Bulldog spokes. Justin, with that brake system that he runs with the factory Honda caliper, he just runs a standard size rotor. Our radiators are braced in case of a fall or whatever, so they seem to work and they last a long time. Also for our cooling, we use Evans Radiator Coolant, and it definitely is a big advantage for us. Skid plate, we run a stock Honda skid plate that's plastic, and we're able to change them out, and they seem to do a really good job of protecting the water pump cover. Chad does our engine stuff and our mapping and everything. So Moto Concepts in-house program with XPR, that's who does our motors. Our race bikes don't have electric start, so we have to run a 2017 wire harness. On our cases, XPR provide us with this coating, gives it factory look, and also it's more rugged. Pretty much he gives us a setting or what we test with at the beginning of the year, and we haven't really changed much from there. Also, we run a Vortex ignition. We use a Pro 6 VP fuel. In our engine, we use the Maxima Pro Plus synthetic oil. Sponsored by Sunstar, so we use Sunstar sprockets. So on our chain drive, we run the DID ERV3 chain, which is a road race chain. Very strong, it's a very strong chain. It's worth the insurance. We've made a few changes this year, but for the most part, Justin sticks with one gear. We have stock engine hangers from the chassis down to the head stay, and then we have titanium engine hangers that go from the frame to the bottom of the cases. On the swing arm pivot, we use just the stock standard steel pivot. So gut seats, he has to break one in on his practice bike, and then he'll usually bring one in to race with because he's really temperamental on the actual foam needs to be broke in for him. We use Pro filters from Maxima. Nothing different or fancy there. So radiator hoses, CV4s, we just purchased from them, and your typical silicone hose. And so the rear shock is another Showa edition that they supply us with the full-on work shock. Same stuff pretty much that Roxon was using. Justin's really temperamental on the shock too, so we have to change the spring out and keep the same spring. Whenever we swap shock, we have to use the same spring all the time because he likes that spring rate. If he could prefer, he likes it as far back as possible down the rear. Obviously gearing limits you to what you can do, so typically he'll run a 49, and we use the stock OE chain guide and slider. Ride Engineer supplies us with a link that lowers it, so it's like 1mm different than standard, and then they give us a couple little other trinkets. On the rear brake, we use just a standard brake line, and we use a standard caliper, and it's pretty much all standard master cylinder. We use a Moto stuff Pro Peg. We just use a Honda stock mount, standard position. I think all our guys just run standard length brake pedal and shift lever. Justin, for the most part, his stuff's pretty neutral, and so we run the Recluse torque drive clutch 13 plate And then also he runs a stiffer springs. It's the red springs that they provide us. Because it is a stiffer spring, you know, it gets more hookup, and he's the only one that runs the red spring over our other two riders. So Yosh provides us the full titanium exhaust off the shelf. Works Connection provides us with whatever we need. We use their reservoir covers, start button, and then also, you know, they provide us with hour meters. On our plastics, as you see on the side, our shrouds, we run all red shrouds, and UFO provides us with all the plastic. Moto Graphics, they provide us with all the graphics, and if we want to make a change, Lee's really good to make a change for us, and we're fortunate, you know, to have Honda support, and they throw JB a few parts here and there, so it seems to work out really good. We got a good relationship with Honda. You can see on his bike is a little bit narrower rear tire, so he runs a 110 opposed to most guys run the 120.